All right, so also welcome from my side. We all know AI is the hot topic of today. But have you noticed that the public discussion tends to be pretty much of a black and white perspective? On the one hand, we have these utopian fantasies of eternal holidays, no chores, no hard labor, just relaxing. An idea introduced in 2011 by Timothy Ferriss in his book, The 4-Hour Working Week. Because of our digital little helpers, we just need to work for 4 hours a week to earn a living. And the good news is, AI even helps us to make use of the remaining time to express ourselves. The same way digital photography democratized taking pictures. Today, we all have access to high quality visual memories of our own lives. And in the same way, AI will help us to express ourselves, to express our creativity. And also, AI will help us to overcome the confusion of tongues. Instead of the need to agree on any lingua franca, we can cherish every local accent because we will all carry devices that translate any language in real time. And then there's the other extreme, total extinction. Popular culture has created a lot of iconic images of evil machines. HAL 9000, the human-like robot from 2001 Space Odyssey, finally turning violent against the human passengers on the spaceship. The Terminator, a robot being able to travel in time to hunt for humans. Or Matrix, this movie providing this ultimate dystopian vision of all of us being connected to some kind of virtual reality while our bodies are stored in some kind of incubator form. What all those movies have in common is they appeal to this ultimate fear that we as a tool-inventing species have, the creation turning against the creator. But why the extremes? Well, in the end, because most of us struggle to understand how AI works. I think you all know this one, ChatGPT. And do you recall the first time you used it? What you felt? It was fascinating. It was creepy, hilarious, and very often silly. And interestingly, a lot of us feel challenged, especially as knowledge workers and academics. Well, we all grew up in a world where we take it for granted that machines can do more and better physical labor than us. Cars can go faster, planes can go higher, elevators can lift more. And nobody feels challenged by that. In fact, most of us appreciate these opportunities. So why do we feel challenged by machines that appear to be able to think and speak? Well, this brings us to the question, what we are as humans. It's one of the most fundamental questions we can pose, and we have posed it since we started to think. In the medieval time, the human was considered something between angels and animals. Enlightenment brought the notion of the superiority of reason, cogito ergo sum. Take any religion, take any philosophy you like, they all provide answers to that question. Personally, I can best relate to the ideas of Yuval Noah Harari, which he published in his famous book, Homo Deus. According to Harari, Homo sapiens has been able to conquer the world because of two things. Firstly, we can collaborate in very flexible terms. And secondly, we can conjure up ideas that we turn into a reality for us. Here he gives examples like money. Money has no natural utility, but for us it's real. In fact, we have sciences about that. Or religion. Ideas we took so seriously that we fought conflicts over that for centuries. Let's illustrate that by the example of the mammoth hunt. Our ancestors have not been the biggest, the strongest, or the fastest species. Yet they have been able to hunt down these huge, intimidating beasts like a mammoth. And why? Well, obvious. They could collaborate, they could share tasks. And they dared to do so because they believed in some support from above. Here I'd like to add a third characteristic that distinguishes us humans. Empathy. We all are able to feel what the others are feeling. Empathy lies at the core of what we are as humans. These guys, they didn't have any communication device. They even needed to stay silent in order to be able to ambush the mammoth. Yet, they could anticipate what the others are doing and what they are going to do. So you see, empathy drives collaboration. And they most probably concocted a plan the night before, together. And we also all know that. Ideas are better, inspiration flows freely when we're in a group. Empathy drives creativity. So, to sum up, what is so human about us humans? Well, collaboration, creativity, and empathy. And what do we do with this insight in the era of AI? You may have heard about the notion of the heart, the head, and the hand. It's commonly used in the areas of leadership and education. It has been originally published by John Nichols in the Leadership and Organizational Development Journal in 1994. In a very simple way, it captures exactly those three defining features: the collaboration, the creativity, and the empathy. And interestingly, we can also use that framework to deduct what it means being human in the era of AI. With the invention of the steam machine, we started to rid ourselves for the need of hard physical labor. No need to pull a plough, and no need to carry heavy burdens or walk long distances. So you see, we already erased the hand. We are now entering a time where machines can think quicker, deeper, better than us. How exactly that will be, that's up for us to explore. But you also see, we start to erase the head. So what's left? Easy. The heart is what is left. Empathy is at the core of what we are as humans. And if we focus on this ability, if we lead with our heart, this opens new possibilities for being human in the era of AI. You know what that is? That's one of the first advanced calculation machines. It was invented by the German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz in the late 17th century. It's able to basically perform all basic mathematical operations. And his intention Leibniz had with this machine is very well reflected in the quote that is attributed to him. He said, "It is unworthy to wasting the time of outstanding people with tedious arithmetic work, because when using a machine, even the most simple-minded person can use the results with certainty." Interesting, isn't it? An over 350-year-old quote resonates today. And that's for a reason. I mean, leave aside this absolutistic language style. But we can identify two aspects that have a relevance today. First, machines can save us time for more valuable work, for more valuable things. And secondly, Machines democratize abilities. They help to reduce inequalities. So let's assume a scenario where AI helps us to save time for more valuable work, where AI democratizes abilities and reduces inequalities. If in such an era of AI, we lead with our hearts, what might be implications for businesses and organizations? I'd like to share 3 perspectives, one on marketing, one on innovation, and one on leadership. Let's start with marketing. The interesting thing about marketing is that it's a pendulum swinging always between creativity and analytics. And the 1980s, the 1990s have been the heydays of creativity. TV was the main channel, and all the big brands, they focused on creatives. In fact, advertisement has been part of our popular culture back then. Well, and then came the internet. Yeah? The pendulum swung here. We went from madman to mothman, as an agency guy once told me. So today's marketing work is a lot about analytics, identifying the customer journey phase, deploying the right message. It's like detectives' work. Fascinating and very rewarding from the analytical standpoint. Yet, it tends to neglect the message. Now imagine an AI that relieves us, that spares us this tedious arithmetic work of analysis. We would have the time to relate to our customers again. If we reach out to their hearts, we can create inspiring brands that provide a purpose, that make our customers laugh. So, you see, if you market with your heart in the era of AI, you can overcome this chasm between creativity and analytics and create inspiring brands and deliver the right message at the right time. Let's have a look at innovation. Innovation is notoriously tricky. Creating something new that is technically feasible and economically viable is a tough challenge because you need both. You need engineering and business abilities. Now, let's imagine an AI that democratizes these abilities, that reduces inequalities by helping us to come up with good business plans and create prototypes that work. We all could be innovative. We all could be innovative by using the method of design thinking. And you know that. Design thinking is an innovation approach that focuses on defining the problem first. And if you have the problem defined, then you look for a solution. And the definition of the problem is based on a thorough analysis. An analysis that is called empathizing. And if we observe, if we listen, if we relate to the users what they wish, need, and want, we can create useful innovations. So you see, if you innovate with your heart in the era of AI, this will be design thinking on steroids. Let's finally take a look at leadership. Your LinkedIn feeds are very likely to be filled with all those memes about boss versus leader, servant leadership, authentic leadership, and the like. And what they all have in common is our wish for this inspiring person helping us to grow, helping us to excel in our tasks. And many people in a leadership position aspire to be that person. But how does leadership in a large organization look today? Large organizations still run by the principle of the functional division of labor. As a result, information goes from bottom to top, and decisions go from top to bottom. So the major part of what you do as a leader in a large organization is informing people and influencing decisions. hundreds of emails per day, attending meeting after meeting, and then all those short notice requests from your teams. And if you're lucky, in the early morning or in the late evening, you have the time to make up your own mind on things. But inspiring your team, helping them grow, tough. Now imagine an AI that would relieve us of this tedious communication work. What could leaders do with all this time? They could focus back on what leadership is, working with humans. And we know from research that empathy is a success factor for good leadership. Take feedback, for example. Feedback is one of the most powerful tools in leadership. And the ability to put yourself into the shoes of the person in front of you receiving the feedback drastically improves the quality and the positive impact of you giving feedback. Empathy also plays a key role in the field of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Today's labor market is characterized by two things. Firstly, we have access to a global talent pool. And secondly, young talents are a scarce resource, especially in the developed economies. So conclusively, it's very likely to have more and more diverse and international teams. And moderating this diversity will be the ultimate leadership task of the future. And empathy, so the ability to relate to each individual team member, to see the individual, is an ability that will definitely support you in fulfilling that task. So you see, all these examples relate to businesses and organizations. But this also holds true for many other areas, like, well, teaching, like our communities, like friends and families. So, whatever future the era of AI may bring, if you lead with your heart, we may be more human than ever. Thank you.